the type to play games, you can stake claims. Came to show the movement moving like a freight train, breaking walls and crumble earth with every step we take. We walking by with lash and your neck will break. Never let it stray, so say it wrong, we'll set it straight. So coming at us with an awkward demeanor is leaving your life in a dead face. So pedal straight, avoid these shots, we send it all costs. Truly believing that it'll be different, we watching your body get hauled off. Simple as this, we giving the vibe of the revolution that we living within. Diminish the doubt of the haters that talk on the low because of this minuscule shit.
Hey guys, let's just take a moment again to congratulate our friend, the basic expert, on creating one of the first in a long time brand new controversy / memes to add to the wheel of irrelevant tabletop role-playing game content. Obviously, this guy understands kayfabe. Obviously, this guy understands how to get these guys to mark out because he made a very simple video and it exploded. It exploded so much it's affecting everything else. In fact, I'm pretty sure, yep, even Steve the Cat is affected by this. Now, I've made 2 videos about this, and certain individuals have misunderstood my point, and that's probably my fault. I do tend to meander and wander, and sometimes I lose focus because of my passion or just because of my exhaustion or just because I've stopped caring about what you fucks think. So first, let me just clarify the first video. It's a game, it's make-believe, it doesn't matter. And the response of, that is a facile, stupid comment that needs to die a slow, painful death. What I was talking about in the first video was the level of negativity and death threats and vile content that Basic Expert was receiving in response to what should have been a pretty simple, hey, I think this is what happened video. It blew way out of proportion, and he responded, which blew it even further out of proportion, and he responded, and people responded to me without really listening. And again, that's probably my fault. I will say I am sometimes when I'm on here my own worst enemy, that I tend to get lost in what I'm trying to focus on. Maybe that's why I don't have 2,000 subs yet. I don't know. Now, the second video I made last night was to congratulate Basic Expert on accomplishing this as a fellow villain arc, as a fellow fan of kayfabe and breaking kayfabe and knowing how to get you guys to mark out and understanding how this works. Congratulations on creating a brand new meme. Congratulations on getting so many people to mark out on your thing, dude. I mean, cheap heat is still heat, but you're not getting cheap heat. You're getting MJF Ric Flair level heat, dude. So congratulations. Congratulations, man. I got to do something like that. So, and then I went to talk about the mythic Underworld / mythic forest idea and what I thought that was. Now, let me again clarify in regards to, do I think that Gary Gygax back in 1974 had the ability to predict the future and created the tabletop role-playing game in such a way that it would influence the future and constantly be able to adapt itself to the future, and that he knew how people were going to evolve, and that it was this golden human engagement system, and Gygax was like creating this epic storytelling engine. No, I don't. Gygax was a loon. He stole other people's shit. Okay. Hey, 80% of AD&D is Hargrave. All right. He took stuff from Professor Baker. He took stuff from Dave Arneson. He took stuff from other people at his table. That became the first D&D. And then he went off and made his own take on D&D, you know? So yeah, the tables, the original random tables, great. Amazing. I'm not sure how they connect with wargaming, because I don't recall any war game that said, well, roll on a random war game table to decide which Napoleon units happen to have orcs with them. And I believe that no, dungeons don't have to make sense because they are a mythic environment. And in that case, TB is right. And in that case, Gygax was right. A dungeon doesn't have to make sense. The random tables don't have to make sense. Gygax dungeons never make sense. Jaquaeus Janelle's dungeons don't make sense. Dungeons today don't make sense. And they don't have to make sense. Now, again, do I think Gygax was predicting the future? Do I agree with the mythological power that TB is giving Gygax? No, I don't. Gygax just took what was out there and presented it in a new way, and it caught on. But was Gygax influenced by the idea of the mythical forest? Absolutely, because the idea of the mythical forest, shocker, predates Gygax. The idea of the mythical underground, shocker, predates Gygax. The idea of the mythical world outside our borders goes all the way back to, I don't know, the beginning of recorded history. It is a story, and that is what a dungeon is. It's a story. And Gygax was taking all the books he'd read, all the pop culture of the time, the ideas that are being given to him by other people at the table, the ideas that he was taking from other people, wargaming, and several hundred years of creative fiction, several hundred years of the heroic journey. So that I 100% agree with Basic Expert that Gygax, consciously or unconsciously, was influenced by the idea, the concept of the mythical forest, the mythical otherworld, the idea that once you leave home, your character's perception of the world might not fit with the real world, and you are going to run into things you understand and things you don't understand. And quite frankly, you don't have to understand them. That's just storytelling 101. Now add that to the fact that this is taking place in a world where there's magic and elves and dragons. That just increases the chances of, hey, this is just lunacy. So yeah, it's not a new idea. Gygax didn't invent anything, guys. And in that aspect, that Scott Garrity level of delusion, I completely disagree with the Basic Expert. Gygax is not a fucking messiah. All right. I think, compared to like Hargrave or some of the other creative brains that were around that same time, he's kind of a hack. He just understood the only thing Gygax did, guys, was take stuff that was already existed, put it on paper, and hit the right note at the right time in the right space of the paradigm to get D&D onto the market and into the public perception. It's not that it was the first, because, there's a lot of people that say M.M. Baker's stuff was before his. It's not the best. It's absolutely not the best. But he was in the right place at the right time, and he knew what he wanted, and he made it happen. So, yeah. But he's not some mythical being that was able to predict the future. That's just, if you actually believe that, you're as lunatic as J. Scott Garrity. Okay, Gygax was a guy. He pooped just like everybody else. He put his pants on one leg at a time, just like everybody else. He tried. There's all these horrible things people have said about Gygax, some of which are true. He was just a dude who had a product, and he just understood how to get that product in the market. And in regards to the mythical aspect of dungeon creation and the random tables, and whether the random tables make sense or not, they don't make sense, and they do not have to. As for arguing, oh, well, dungeons have improved over the years and they now make way more sense. No, they don't. Show me one that does. Mines of Fendelver makes sense. The Vecna thing, the most recent Wizards of the Coast product, makes sense. There's nothing about that that makes sense. Dungeons don't make sense. They are the mythical overworld. They are the mythical forest. They are the mythical underground. They don't make sense because they're not real. They are a tool that we use to tell a story. And the fabric of reality doesn't have to exist in the dungeon, because this takes place in a world where magic exists. And magic is the cheat code of the universe. And once you say magic, that gives you the ability to have anything happen and not offer a plausible explanation. Why is that there? Magic. That's it. I don't have to explain anymore. If you accept that magic is a part of the reality of D&D, then everything else is like, hey, it's magic. It's not real. There are the real dungeons. There are real dungeons, guys. We talked about this in the first video. Real dungeons look nothing like Dungeons and Dragons dungeons. There are real cave complexes under the earth that are still being explored. They look nothing like the cave complexes in Dungeons and Dragons. There are no wandering monsters. The worst thing you're going to encounter in dungeons are animals. The biggest threat is getting lost and getting stuck, not wandering monsters. So, again, for my facile argument that needs to slowly die, if I have to choose a hill to stand on in regards to creative storytelling, in regards to creative education, you know, I'm a play-based educator. I'm a Vygotskian play-based educator. I believe in there, you know, I was trained under the Reggio Vygotsky method by one of the premier Reggio Vygotskian play-based educators in California. I have spent the first 4 years of my career working with special needs kids, just studying play, just studying make-believe, just interacting with them through the tool of the mythical forest, of getting into their world through play. And none of them play wrong. All right. I have yet to see anybody play make-believe wrong. I have yet to see anybody tell me these are the hard and fast rules of make-believe. So if I got to pick a hill to fight on to the point where I'm as you know, incoherently stupid, I'll pick that one. And I'm sorry you think I'm a straw man, Daniel, of Driving in Dragons. I'm sorry you think my argument is facile and needs to die a slow, painful death. And that's my thing. That's what I'm trained in. That's what I believe. Make-believe can't be wrong. There is no rules for make-believe. And because it's make-believe, it doesn't have to make sense. I don't care what the rules say. I don't care what Gygax said. I don't care what Crawford said. I don't care what Hargrave said. I don't care what Jeff D says. I don't care what Call of Cthulhu says. I don't care what your favorite game of choice says. If you write a game, I won't care what it says. I'm going to play the game the way I enjoy it. I am going to play make-believe the way I enjoy it. And if I can find one other person on the planet who appreciates the way I play make-believe, great. If I can find 3 people, 4 people who like it, even better. If I can find, 1,800 people? Great. 1,800 people out there seem to think that what I have to say has value. So, do you have to agree with that? No, you don't. In fact, I'm going to bet the bottom dollar that you're probably going to make another video about me, which I greatly appreciate. So in closing, was Basic Expert right? Absolutely. Was Basic Expert wrong? Absolutely. Was Pundit right? Absolutely. Was Pundit wrong? Absolutely. Did Basic Expert deserve the level of anger and hate he received from this video? I don't know. Does Scott Garrity still deserve the level of hate people make towards him now after all these years? I don't think so. It's not like Scott's going to change. I mean, you know, I jumped on Scott in the past, but now I'm like, dude, Scott, just do whatever you want to do. God love you. Same with Basic Expert. Is he wrong? Who the fuck cares? Is he hurting anybody? He's portraying the character of the Basic Expert. This is the character he's chosen to portray. This is the character that gets him the most responses and gets him the most heat. And I'm pretty sure I understand the guy enough to know that he understands how cheap pops work. And he got y'all to mark out. He got y'all to mark out on his video. So in that sense, he won because you're still talking about it. Is this newsworthy? Absolutely not. Are we going to do this again in 3 to 6 months? You know we are. Will there ever be a final solution? No. Will there always be some person who needs to feel that we are playing their game wrong? Absolutely. Will it have any effect on the situation in the Middle East? No. Was Gary Gygax a saint whose game is an engine to change the world? No. That's where we definitely different. Gygax was a loon. Hargrave was a loon. Jeff D was a loon. We're all loons. I'm a fucking loon. I'm an idiot. So hopefully I have clarified my statement, and we won't have to talk about this again, which means sometime in the next 3 to 6 months, we will talk about this again. Anyways, I appreciate you all taking a moment to listen to me rant and rave and be an idiot. I'm sure I'll receive more negative comments about this than positive comments. Again, just to clarify, I don't agree with Basic Expert that Gygax had some galactic plan that explains everything. I do agree that Gygax was influenced by the idea of the mythic underworld, the mythic forest, and that the dungeon is the mythic forest. And no, the dungeon does not have to make sense. It never has. It never will. There is nothing sensical about dungeons because they're not real. Now returning to your regularly scheduled nonsense. Till next time, I'm the OG GM. If you appreciate this content, let me know. If you don't appreciate this content, let me know. Stay safe out there, because it's the world. And there's far more important things that we should be worrying about than D&D, I think. But I don't know. I'm an idiot.